This tutorial will show you how to paint a deer skull from observation. All you need is white acrylic paint, black oil pastels, and a variety of oil pastel colors for your background. Also, you need baby oil to smooth and blend your black oil pastel details. If you love art and love learning how to make art, don't forget to subscribe. I have a deer skull right in front of me, and I'm going to be looking at the skull the whole time I paint. I always start by making small marks on my paper to measure the size relationships. For more information on this, I'll pop my video on the screen about how to do this while looking at your skull. You'll notice that I am not using a pencil. This always freaks my students out, but I want you to pretend like the paintbrush is the pencil. I like the opportunity of giving students multiple opportunities to paint different angles of the same skull. So don't get too caught up in being perfect, and if you paint a weird skull the first time, you have more than one chance to get a skull painting that you like. Just pay attention to the big shapes, how the size relationships work, measure things with your pencil or your paintbrush, and just try to map out your basic shapes. Don't forget the small details like the teeth. They give your skull personality and are super fun to paint. Once you feel confident that you've got all your details, we're going to let your acrylic paint dry overnight. One of my art teacher tricks I have is baby oil and oil pastels. If you've ever heard the saying, oil and water doesn't mix, or don't throw water on a grease fire, that's the basic idea of oil pastels and baby oil. The oil is what blends your pastel to make it go from dark to light or to make a soft blending of colors. You're going to draw your details in with your black oil pastel, paying attention to the areas that are the darkest and the areas that are your medium values. Start with your darkest lines, which in most views you're going to find in the eyes, in the nose and teeth, and you need to pay attention to the shading and shadows in your antlers. This is a painting from observation, so make sure you're not making up what you think the deer skull looks like, but you're paying attention to how the light is actually hitting it and making those dark and light areas. Look at your skull almost as much, if not more, than you're looking at your painting itself. Once you have some areas mapped in, use a paintbrush, not your favorite paintbrush, and some baby oil to spread out and blend with your brush. Think of it just like if you were painting with water. You're using the baby oil to smooth and to blend and to create some really delicate areas of gray. Be aware that baby oil is oily, and it will leave some grease spots on your paper, so you don't need a lot of oil on your brush, just enough to blend it. If you do get some on your background or on your paper, don't stress out. Eventually, and it does take time, it does evaporate and it doesn't have those areas quite as dark. It does make a nice little shadow, so don't be scared. Baby oil is safe for babies, so it's safe for you. Last step is adding a background. Oil pastels make an excellent background. You have a variety of color choices. You can draw right up to the skull to create a shadow, and have fun adding details to the background and really picking colors that amplify your skull. Remember, your skull is the subject of your painting, so you don't want to take away from it. You want to just enhance it. Make sure to add a little bit of color in the eye socket and in the nose, or any area where there's a hole, so you can see the background through the skull and it doesn't look separate. Turning the pastel on its side makes a thicker line, and it lets that brown paper show through, which gives your painting lots of unity. I'm adding a second blue so that my background has a little bit more detail and interest, but keeping it simple again so my skull is the diva of this painting. Make sure your background colors touch right next to your paint and don't leave like a brown halo. Adding a little bit of your background color in the skull itself will also be a great way to show reflected light. With just white paint, black oil pastels, baby oil, and a few other oil pastel colors, you can create a really fun and vibrant skull painting from direct observation. I'm always so impressed at the creativity and details that my 5th graders accomplished with this lesson. I love the different personalities their skulls have, and their backgrounds are very inspiring. Thanks for watching, and happy painting.